Hello, I am Quema Ledbetter, a DBA candidate here at UMGC, working on a dissertation currently titled AI Driven Hiring, Promoting Fair, Merit-Based Hiring Decisions. This presentation explains where I am in my research. I have completed chapters 1 through 3, chapter 1 being the overview of the business problem, chapter 2 being a review of the scoping literature, and chapter 3 describing the research methodology and how it will be executed. Chapters 4 and 5 are not discussed in this presentation. AI is being used in HR hiring processes all across the globe. Hunkenshaw and Lutke tell us that AI applications can be found in various stages of recruiting, such as writing job ads, screening applicant resumes, and analyzing video interviews via face recognition software. AI is also used as an additional recommendation on hiring panels. Scholars are developing and testing AI hiring models for the ability to predict employee outcomes. Which candidates are likely to be good performers? Who are likely to stay at the company for more than 5 years? And who are likely to be engaged and enthusiastic? Problem statement. Exploring ways to use AI to select the best employees is a good thing. However, the selection must be fair. The problem explored in this study is that AI algorithms used in hiring processes can perpetuate and amplify human biases, leading to unfair hiring decisions and exposing organizations to lawsuits and reputational damage. Unfair hiring practices can lead to significant financial costs, such as the $176 million settlement in Texaco's race discrimination lawsuit in 1996. They can also damage organizational reputation, as seen in the EEOC cases involving major corporations like Coca-Cola and Home Depot. Purpose of the study. This study aims to develop a scalable framework for integrating AI into hiring processes to mitigate bias and maximize fairness, addressing the problem of AI perpetuating human biases in hiring decisions. Significance of the study. Academically, this research contributes to a deeper understanding of AI applications within organizational settings, expanding the theoretical frameworks that guide technology's ethical and practical use in human resource management. Businesses can use the framework resulting from this study for AI integration that emphasizes fairness, transparency, and diverse, high-performing workforces. This improvement in hiring efficacy can result in significant competitive advantages, including higher employee retention rates, improved job performance, and greater workforce satisfaction. The research question. Peacock is a framework used to structure research questions. It helps in defining the specific components of a research query, which is crucial in obtaining relevant and focused evidence. The population the study is focused on are hiring managers and job candidates, as they are the major players in the hiring processes. Existing employees, customers, and the public at large, also part of the study's population, are their observers and judges of the hiring processes, and they benefit or are harmed by the selected employees. Incorporating AI technologies into hiring decisions innovatively, improving decision-making processes, defining fairness, and identifying job selection criteria are the actions being investigated. The comparison is fair AI-driven hiring processes compared to current human hiring processes. The desired outcome is an increased likelihood that hiring decisions are perceived as fair within organizations. The study's context includes all types of organizations all over the world. The research question. How can hiring officials use AI to aid in hiring decision-making while avoiding the potential risks and negative consequences of unfair hiring decisions? The scoping literature review. A scoping literature review was conducted to map out the existing research on AI-driven hiring decisions, to provide an overview of the available studies, and to identify gaps in the literature. In the OneSearch database, there are over 2.1 million articles related to artificial intelligence, with more than 200,000 specifically focused on AI and hiring. Among the articles published since 2019 that were peer-reviewed, about 5,000 dealt with AI in hiring. These articles were reviewed based on their titles and abstracts, revealing a significant number of systematic and empirical studies. The empirical studies primarily consisted of quantitative analyses where AI models were tested either in laboratory settings or live environments to assess if they could outperform humans in predicting successful hiring outcomes. Some of these experiments showed AI to be more effective while others did not. Additionally, qualitative empirical studies were conducted involving interviews or surveys with hiring managers and job candidates to gather their perspectives on AI's roles in interviews and its recommendations for candidate selection. Several studies explored AI transparency, focusing on explaining AI outcomes to users so they could understand how recommendations were made. Others examined the impersonal nature of AI, noting that many humans are uncomfortable interacting with it. There were also studies highlighting cases where humans relied on AI's recommendations without question. The literature on AI and hiring is continually expanding, with new research emerging daily, including numerous dissertations on the topic. However, when it comes to addressing bias and fairness in AI, although there's extensive literature on eliminating bias, for example, excluding race, gender, and age from decision-making, there is a notable lack of research on what specific factors should be included in AI models for making recommendations, such as assessment scores, credentials, and accomplishments. Theoretical and conceptual model. The lens model is a psychological framework developed by Brunswick in 1956 to describe and analyze the process of human judgment and decision-making. Brunswick was interested in how individuals make decisions in environments full of uncertainty, and his model provides a way to understand how people use various pieces of information, or cues, to make judgments about the world. My study applies the lens model to human hiring decision-making and then to AI hiring decision-making. The lens model emphasizes the use of cues to make decisions. In human hiring, the cues are finite, unprioritized job selection criteria, such as team fit, experience, skills, credentials, and unfair biases that are also used to select job candidates. These cues refer to a job candidate and are used to predict outcomes about that job candidate, such as high performance, retention, engagement, and high morale. In this instance, the human decision maker makes subjective decisions and is not required to use the identified list of cues to make the decision. In AI hiring, the cues are approaching infinity, the number of cues, and are prioritized job selection criteria. With the use of AI, a large enough data set of cues can be identified, prioritized, and measured to prevent the occurrence of multiple candidates being equally qualified. AI hiring will definitively use the cues and only the cues to make a hiring decision. Furthermore, AI will be self-learning by measuring employee outcomes in relation to the cues used to make selections. The cues and the outcome measurements will become increasingly more accurate over time. Research methodology. I selected the systematic review methodology for this study. It is replicable, transparent, and credible. The systematic review is supplemented with semi-structured interviews of 4 subject matter experts. I'm in the process of executing my research methodology. So far, I have conducted a preliminary scoping of the literature. I developed a 4-part search string and used it to search OneSearch, Scopus, and Google Scholar. I will be expanding my search to include relevant business and technology journals with an impact factor greater than 1. On the right, you see the interview questions I plan to use with my SMEs. I will ask exploratory, systematizing, and theory-generating questions. These question categories were identified by Bogner and Menz in 2009 and will supplement the information identified in the final dataset of studies. Prisma. Here you see a sample Prisma diagram documenting the inclusion-exclusion criteria and search string that will be used to develop the final dataset for this study. The search string will consist of 4 parts: AI, hiring, fairness, and job selection criteria/transparency. These 4 components are relevant to the research question and the conceptual framework. Items to be included will be 2019 and later, peer-reviewed articles, empirical studies, mixed method studies. Items to be excluded will be non-English studies, conference papers, and articles unrelated to AI-driven hiring. Based on the scoping literature review, the resulting dataset after articles are removed based on the exclusion criteria will likely be 35 to 50 studies. Tapupus. Here you see a sample of Tapupus evaluation of one of the articles reviewed during the scoping literature review. Tapupus is a framework used to assess the quality of qualitative research, and it stands for transparency, accuracy, purposivity, utility, propriety, accessibility, and specificity. Each criterion is assessed to determine the overall quality of an article. A 3-point scale will be used to score each criterion, with 1 being that the study was low in meeting the criterion, 2 being moderate, and 3 being high. The Tapupus evaluation will be conducted on the 35 to 50 studies resulting from the search and removal of articles meeting the exclusion criteria. Studies scoring less than an average Tapupus score of 70% will be removed from the final dataset, and the Prisma diagram will be updated. Dataset analysis. Here you see a diagram describing the analysis that will be performed on the dataset. The process will begin with data extraction, where relevant information such as authors and years, title, purpose of the study, study methodology, and study findings are documented. Following the data extraction, I will use Atlas TI software to conduct the first cycle coding of the studies to capture a broad range of concepts and themes. Next, I will conduct the second cycle of coding, again using Atlas TI. These codes will be refined and grouped into higher level themes or patterns, allowing for a nuanced and conceptual understanding of the data. I will group the codes into categories and group the categories into themes based on the content of the data, ensuring that the themes accurately reflect the underlying patterns and relationships present in the data set. The final synthesis will involve selecting the themes based on their relevancy to the research question and reporting those themes as findings. Findings evaluation, SERQUAL. I will use SERQUAL, confidence in the evidence from reviews of qualitative research, to evaluate the findings. SERQUAL is a systematic approach that assesses and increases transparency regarding our confidence in findings from qualitative evidence synthesis. It involves 4 key components: assessing methodological limitations to identify problems with the design or conduct of the studies, evaluating the coherence of the evidence to determine how well the data fit together, considering the adequacy of data by examining the richness and quantity of the data supporting each finding, and assessing the relevance of the evidence to the specific context of the review question. By applying SERQUAL, I will systematically evaluate the confidence level in each review finding, ensuring that the conclusions are robust and well supported by the underlying evidence. At the end here are the references so far for the dissertation, and also contact information if you have any questions, recommendations. All are welcome. Thank you for your time and attention.